Hey guys, how you doing?
Hello, 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 everybody. Thank you for choosing to watch Supernatural Murders tonight. We got a good show
Mhm.
for you guys tonight. You had thousands of choices you could have did, and you showed up for us. We appreciate you.
We do.
Yes, yes, we do. And this is going to be a very unique,
Hi,
a very
Maria.
unique show.
Much
Hey
love back.
guys,
Go ahead, Lee. Sorry.
thank you for watching. No problem. I was just going to say this is going to be a really unique show because this is a place where I lived,
Hmm.
and Gwen has experienced the anomaly. We experienced it today, and some things that have happened because we've just let me tell you the story. It's unbelievable. You guys are gonna just have to like interview me like you don't know me and that you want to get the details of the story because it's hard for me to get it together to talk about it. There's so much to it, and I don't think people will believe part of it. Hey, Maria. So, the name of the story that I wrote is Bloody Thursday. If
Hmm.
you here, let me pop it up here. Bloody Thursday. I don't know that people are going to believe the story, y'all, but I swear to God, it's true. All right. So, what happened? I was living in an apartment. My ex-husband and I had gotten separated. It was he was an ex-monster. It was good that he was gone, and I had to find somewhere to live that would be reasonably priced because it was just me and the baby and two Cocker Spaniels. And so I found this little house in Honeypath, and Honeypath is centrally located to a lot of different towns in upstate South Carolina. And I was teaching, so by a grant, so I was able to go to all these different places, and it was more centralized. So the house was really inexpensive, and the rent was unbelievable. So I decided to go ahead and buy it, and the mortgage was super cheap. So I moved in the house right away. I knew something weird was going on, but little I would have never ever guessed of what happened to me. Um, I think the first thing that happened, I was hearing footsteps coming up from the attic, and the attic door was in my bedroom, and I would hear hard footsteps coming up, and there was a apartment downstairs that we weren't using for anything. But the house was a lot bigger than it looked from the outside. And I would hear it, and it would wake me up. It was so loud. I mean, like a man with boots. And yes, he's right there.
Hello
Blaine's.
now.
Say, hey, Auntie Gwen. Hey, Luna.
Hey.
Hey, Blaine. So I woke up and I'm hearing these steps, and it was like it was right there at that attic door. And it bothered me so bad, I decided to put, hey, Raven,
Raven.
thanks for coming on. You guys let people know we're here.
I'm doing
Uh,
that now too.
yeah. So I took a lock, one of those hinge locks that, comes across like that, and I put a padlock on it. And everybody was laughing, like, what are you doing? I mean, why did you do that to yourself? To go out, you have to unlock the door. And I
Hmm.
said, it's not to keep me in, it's to keep somebody else from coming up. And when I told them that, I could see it really jarred people. Um, but one time it was so loud and it sounded like running up and down, um, that I ended up, it woke up, um, uh, it was Demi and Picasso, my two Cocker Spaniels. And here I am in the middle of the bed with my baby and my two dogs sitting up on my knees, hanging on. And we ended up in the living room. I don't know. It was a really weird feeling. And it was very jarring. wake up and I'm having to protect my kids, my child and my dogs and myself. It's something about waking up from a dead sleep to something like that is really, especially when you've got a child. You're almost helpless when you have a child in your arms because it's not like you can just fight. You're holding a child. It kind of makes you helpless. But anyway, finally it got to the point where Mia was kind of into everything. And I put her in her playpen and had her in the living room and pulled her around enough to where I could step back from the stove and see her and continue to cook. Well, she had a tendency to throw her toys, and then she would say bye bye, and she'd wave. She started talking early. It's like, oh my God, what is she doing? And I heard bye bye, and then I heard screaming, and I had something coming out of the stove. I couldn't get to her fast enough. Luna just fell. Hold on. And I came around the corner, going like this, reaching out for her toy. And her toy came off the floor right into her hand. And I was like, God, is my kid doing this or did somebody do that? And I couldn't see. Now, why is it that I couldn't see? Why would they hide themselves from me?
Because you're an adult.
Right. And she would laugh and talk. So, jibber jabber. But when that happened, that was pretty much it. I ended up going to see Mom and Mama Jenny and talk to Dad. And I'm like, all right, what is happening at this house? So that sounds like every day, normal, okay? But then I started having a lot of pranks pulled on me. There was like a puppy that was on my porch, a little bitty puppy, and I went to pick it up, and something said, "Don't do that." And I touched it with my toe, and bat wings flew out. And it came right at my face, and then whoosh, and I was like, oh my God, who would have put a bat on my porch? Or why would it just be laying there? But that was one of the first things. Then a black cat, a wild, very feral black cat. I was doing some work on the one of the windows, and it was nice out. So I had the window up, the screen was down, and we were sleeping. It was a nice breeze, I don't know how that cat got in the screen. I guess he just pushed it through, but I didn't really see. But anyway, damn cat's in the house. And it came running and ended up in the bathroom. And I was like, well, good, I'll deal with it later. It's in the bath. It's a cat in the bathroom. Who cares? And I was just glad it didn't wake up Mia. And now I've got to go to the bathroom. So by this time, I've met Matt and we're in love and he's there. And it was just before we got married. So all of this is progressing. And so I'm like, I got to go to the bathroom. So I went in there into the bathroom, sat down, and the cat is in my bathtub. And I was like, I'm going to die. This thing's going to kill me because it was just really scary the way it was going. And I kept yelling for Matt. Of course, it's 2 or 3 in the morning, poor man. And what? I said, Matt, come here. And every time I'd try to move my lips too fast or I would talk loud, it would, Finally, Matt came in there. And when he saw Matt, he went up the wall like Jackie Chan, hit the carpet, shot into the kitchen, sliding, and ended up in one of my kitchen cabinets. Now, how it got in the cabinet with the door shut, that was still, I didn't get to see that part. But Mia's on foot. It woke her up. So she's walking around in the kitchen. Oh, kitty cat. Oh, kitten. And I was like, no, baby, back up. So finally, Matt had on his boxer shorts. He took my basket that I had. It was like a little tissue basket. It wasn't like trash can. It was a basket. And it was brand new. And anyway, he had that on his head because he didn't want it to attack his face. He had his boots on. And he had barbecue tongs and he had mitts on your oven mitts, and here he comes to get the cat out of the kitchen cabinets. And he got that cat by the head, and he started backpedaling, and he was pushing out canned soup, spaghetti sauce, hot sauce. Things are hitting the floor and busting. Hot sauce went everywhere. There goes my flour. Poof, it was in my hair. It was all over everything. It was horrible. And finally, what we ended up doing was Matt ended up getting like a towel or something and wrap it around his head. I was holding the towel and he had the barbecue tongs. We got to the front door. He yelled, "Open the door!" So I opened the door and he threw that cat out the door. Tongs, a glove. He slammed that door and he was like, "Let's go to bed." And he went to lock the door. He just got laid down. He was so tired, y'all. He just laid back. There was a knock at the door. It was my mom and Mama Judy. They were going to the mall and a flea market, and they wanted to take Mia shopping. And when they came in the house, and I had flour in my hair and hot sauce across my nightgown, and they walked into the kitchen and they saw the chocolate sauce. They thought it was blood.
Yeah.
And lady, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, a cat got in my kitchen cabinet. What? A cat got in your cabinet?
They're probably thinking poor Matt done tried to half kill you or something.
I think they did, because we were newlyweds at this time. And I said, "Did you not see the barbecue tongs and the, oven mitts in the yard?" Yeah, we wondered about that. So they took Mia, and I told them about the cat, and Matt got up and was telling about the cat, and they're going, "Okay." So they took Mia, and we finally got some sleep. And oh God, it was just a mess. But we would have something really spooky happen. By this time, Mia's able to talk, and she's able to walk pretty good. And okay, and I got to go to the bathroom. Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy.
I'm in the middle of the night. Hey, Michael, thank you for coming. And so I'm going to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and there's a little girl, and she's got her back to me, and it looks a lot like Mia. The hair's the same length, but I was like, she looks a lot taller. And I hear, hee, and I'm like, "Mia, go to bed. What are you doing up? Hee. And I started walking over, and right when I went to touch her, she dissolved, and Mia's laying in the bed asleep. And she told me that her angel was named Kelly. Now, she's on foot, she's able to talk, but that doesn't mean she can spell.
Yeah.
And she said her angel's name was Kelly with an E. How does she know what the heck an E is?
No doubt.
All right. So
she was told that by the spirit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So this is what we ended up finding out. We had to have a tree taken down. I got a brand new van, and a great big tree limb landed on my new van. It still had the new car smell.
Oh.
And it ruined it, and it was in the shop for 2 weeks. See what I'm saying? Some bull crap like that would happen. I'd have something spiritual, then bull crap would happen. We had a possum die on top of our HVAC system inside like a duct or something, and every time it would turn on, we'd smell that awful smell, and then it would turn off. And I'm like, "I smell it in here, Matt." And he's running around, "I smell it over here. I'm telling you, it's over here." So we ended up calling James, Matt's buddy, and he's out there trying to help us. And by the time they were able to pinpoint what it was, they had gotten gas masks and put it on.
Okay, there's definitely some fuckery going on there.
Yeah.
Okay. What?
I forgot. That's my bad. There we go.
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
What happened?
So, we had to put the banner up.
Language banner up.
Oh.
So they ended up, God love them, they ended up having to dig the carcass out of wherever it was, because I'm in the, "Just hold Mia, sit on the sofa, hold Mia," because they were protecting me from the dead possum. And the last time I saw them, they were in Matt's truck James had the thing in a bag, hanging it out the window like that outside the truck. Both of them wearing gas masks going down the road.
Yeah, but
Oh.
I
that's
mean,
good.
we had to. Oh yeah, it was horrible. So we had to get the thing done. But the fuckery was real, y'all.
Yeah, it
I
was.
mean, the jokes were hilarious, but the spiritual things that were happening. I mean, people have told me maybe that was like a Loki spirit, a jokester. But Blaine, you told me something when you were looking at it and doing a reading that I found very interesting because she ended up she started showing herself as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but I've got some information to tell you guys too.
Oh, right
But
on.
what did you see?
What I saw was a female child about 9 or 10 years old that was a jokester. I have one of those at my house, a little boy named Billy, little bastard. Oh, I want to whoop this child's ass so bad. He will turn on the hairdryer. He'll turn on all the lights in the house, open all the cabinets, slam doors, turn the attic light on.
Was he at my house last weekend?
No, Billy doesn't
Okay.
leave the
So
house.
she-
Unless he's in the car with me.
Just making
When-
sure.
Okay.
Oh my God. It might have been Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because anyway, I'll tell you that.
Go
Keep
ahead.
going.
But yeah, Billy, he's a little shit. He'll call 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So if you guys get a call from me at like 3 in the morning, it ain't me. It's Billy fucking playing with my phone, pardon my French. No, I'm not sorry about that. So the way I get his little ass, we have a little girl that's 12. Her name is Emily. She's another little spirit that lives here. I always tell Billy, if you don't behave, boy, I'm going to have Emily kiss you right on the mouth. And he'll behave for like 3 days. Then he'll go back to be a little dick. Oh,
Yeah.
I yell at that boy. Probably more than my dad yelled at me, and that was a lot.
Yeah, you're a little bit bad.
Thank you,
Billy is me
Stan.
2
I didn't
thumbs
see
over.
you. I didn't see that Stan had poked up and said, "Hey."
Yeah, we got Stan,
Right.
Michael, Jeremy, Marla.
Yeah.
Wait,
We
Raven.
gotta say that
Hey, Raven.
even though it's not our network, Stan and Michael have a new show coming out Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. You guys
Oh,
go
nice.
watch them. They're good friends of the show and they're good friends of the network.
Yes, they're great people.
Yep, I
Hey,
was talking
Linda,
to
thank you for watching.
Linda.
Yeah.
But yeah, Billy's a mess. Now my other little boy, Sammy, he's like 5. He's the sweetest little boy. He loves Jennifer. He'll follow Jennifer around where Jennifer goes. It's funny because it's Sammy, Bohannon, and Bella, my 2 dogs. So those 3 are wherever Jennifer goes, that's where they go. And
That's
when we go to
funny.
bed at night, Sammy gets up at Jennifer's feet, lays right at her foot of her bed on the bed.
Aw.
Now, Billy, I don't know where that little passant goes.
Well, fine.
Thank you, Michael.
Usually,
Yes.
sorry, Michael. I thought Tuesday, my
What's
bad.
the name
Wrong
of-
day.
Hey guys,
But-
put in the comments. How does
yeah,
your
he's
show?
a pain. Go ahead and tell what you're telling about Kelly with the E.
Oh, no, I was just telling Michael, you guys tell us the name of the show and how people can watch. Let's pop that up too.
Yep.
Or you can send it to Gwen and she'll pop it up.
Oh, well, if you send me the poster, guys, I saw you had one. Send me the poster and I'll put it up for you.
Yeah. So, all right. So I think it's a child spirit too. I was worried about that. I wasn't really sure, but seeing her like a little girl with her back turned, and she just thought that was the cutest thing. It was so
Mhm.
funny. It wasn't funny. It wasn't nothing about that funny. A spirit between me and my daughter, and I mean, she was as solid as, and I can hear her making the noise. So anyway, we had a tree limb that fell on the van, and it ruined my van, and it was in the shop for over 2 weeks. And so my husband Matt decided, okay, it's time to take that tree down. So as the guy was taking it down, he was going to drop it in between our house and the big hedge of bushes. And, it had to be precisioned or it was going to ruin the HVAC system and half the house. So when it went down, oh my God, I was screaming. The guy was screaming and he was holding his heart, But we got it done, but the branches hit. I wondered if it was astral projection, Linda. She said she sees solid figures can be astral, but
this one wasn't astral. This
no,
was an actual spirit. But we see them so well, we see them as solid.
Yeah. So the siding came off the house, which was no big deal. Matt could just put that up with nails and whatnot. But what he saw was very interesting because he uncovered bullet holes in our house. And what would bullet hole? And he knew what caliber. Matt, what caliber was the gun? The bullet hole in the house? A 45 what? It was a 45 ACT. He took his pocket knife. What? ACP. Okay. He took his pocket knife.
I know exactly. I keep those rounds myself. So
he took his pocket knife and got the bullet out of the house. And he was like, "This is like World War I. What is it doing here?" I said, "Well, the house was built in the early 30s, but what gunfire in the Mill Village?" And so Matt started looking, and meanwhile I'm thinking, "Oh God, this is getting bigger than I wanted it to." I'm really overly focused on running my business and taking care of my daughter and the pups, and I'm newlywed now. So, I had a lot on my mind. And he comes back with James's father, Joe, and they disclosed something to us. They went over to the mill and got on the roof, and they found those shells all over the roof. And Joe said that he had been over there years ago, and there were machine guns on the top floor where nobody was allowed to go. And I thought, what in the world? Okay, so here it is. And Blaine, I'm going to ask you to astral project in a minute, so just be ready.
I'm already ready.
All right. So this was in the 30s. That was the Chicola Mill. It ended up being built onto several times. This is massive. It just on the left side where the cars are, it goes way back, like halfway down the block. This was directly behind my house. I was on the street over from the one that's beside the mill. The mill was basically abandoned, and people could go in there and stuff, but you had to wear boots. Grass was starting to grow and that kind of stuff. But this is what it looked like when I went back like 3-4 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, there's been a fire, there's been a lot of stuff. And now it's flat. The town got like $4 or $6 million to take the whole thing down to the ground, and now they get to develop the land. So what I'm about to explain to you guys, I feel like it's like the town is taking it back.
They are.
So that's what it felt like, because here, that is the memorial that was erected for 7 people. It was dedicated in 1995, but this happened in 1934. There was some union organizers coming through the South from up north. Yeah, taking it back. And they were trying to organize a union. And the sad part about what happened, the sad part about it is that there were a lot of people that got, they thought that this was going to be their answer, because this mill is actually what instituted 8 days a week work. So they never got a day off.
8 hours a day?
Yeah, 8 hours a day, and they would do 10, 12-hour shifts, but then they started doing the swing shifts and stuff. But what ended up happening, people were just sick and tired of having to work all the time. And it was filthy. People talked about how filthy it was. They didn't notice how bad it was until they went to lay down. And when they lay down, all that textile cotton and dust would come out of their hair and their clothes, and they'd take a bath and it would blow it out of their nose. And I'm very sensitive to this because my grandmother worked in the textile mill majority of her life, and she died from COPD from working in the textile mill. She never smoked.
Yeah.
So it killed her. Now she was older, and I know you have to die of something, but that's what it was. My great aunt lost her eye. A piece came off of one of the looms and hit her in the eye and split it in half. So she was blind in one eye from working in there. And nobody got any kind of, they
Conversation.
sent her, they sent Mama Jenny a letter. We were all living together by then because I had cancer, and Mom said she'd help me with Mia getting her to school. The schools were much better here than where we were. She had been going to a really neat school, a little Montessori school, which I went to school for teaching. And these are the best. They learned through play. Well, when she got over here, it took us 2 weeks to get her caught up. So, and our school district where I am now was like number 7 in the state at the time. So I was glad that we moved and that I had Mom's help, because I was also working a job and I wouldn't be able to pick her up from school, and I didn't have to pay the daycare by the time all was said and done. But I never talked to Mama Jenny about the fears that she had working in the mill. She always talked about how when she went to the mill, her apron was always starched, and she had her little handkerchief in her pocket, and she had a basket that she carried as a purse with all her little tools in it, and her flowers on her basket matched her handkerchief in her pocket.
Mm-hmm.
How every hair was in place. She kept her lipstick on. There's just a certain amount of integrity you have to maintain even when you're working that hard. And, they got a house to live in. Mama Jenny's mother was mostly crippled, but she was able, that's a whole nother story. It involves the Hat Man. But anyway, she was able to get back on her feet enough to be able to work. And therefore they got a mill house. So, it was pretty cool how these things helped them. But all in all, this experience was horrible for them. I mean, overall, if you look at it now compared to back then, what we have now. Here, let me show you. Let me just show you some of these pictures, and then I'll show you something else. There's just so much to talk about with this. All right, so here's the women and men that worked 1934 in one of the weaving rooms. And I guess you can tell they're all wearing similar dresses, and they have aprons on. The men have overalls. And most of them have short hair because they didn't want it to get caught up in the machinery.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we know that children were working there. There were no child labor laws.
Nope.
And a lot of children got hurt there too. But so the union said, we're going to organize a strike for you. You guys are working in terrible, nasty conditions, and we're going to fix this for you. Well, they started to do a strike, and the man that owned the mill hired the chief of police, and the chief of police hired all the hunters and people that could handle weapons. And they walked around the mill with it looking like that. Okay. And it turned almost into like a concentration camp kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You had to eat pretty much at your station and all that nasty air, all the stuff. And they just didn't get any time off. And so when they said they were going to go on strike, just like the poster, I'm going to pop the poster up when it says, Honeypath, South Carolina, when the mill gates closed, gunfire opened, workers ran, bullets followed. History didn't end here, it stayed.
Yep.
And that's what happened.
Well, you got to figure too. A lot of those strikes they bring in these union busters. It had to be run by the chief of police, but he'd go empty his jail out and get the murderers.
Yeah.
It had nothing to lose anyway. He told them, "Look, I'll cut your sentence back if you go help us bust this union up." And 90% of them said, "Hell yeah, I'll do it. I've already killed before anyway. What's the big deal killing again?"
Right.
And
So-
just some of the stuff that happened in that era, there was no safety regulations. OSHA would have had a field day in places like that back in the day, but there wasn't such a thing of it. And they're just lucky they actually got paid with money and not with what some people
Meal.
call clackers or and you could only buy stuff from the company store and live in a company house. They owned you. They made sure you were in so much debt that you could never leave. At least they got paid.
Well, I have some of those that Mama Jenny had. They're
So
coins.
they did pay them in clackers. They paid them in
Mhm.
coins or clackers that were only could be used at the store owned by the company.
Now, I have a story. Most of the stories that I am talking about in reference to tonight is in my book, Family Spirit, 5 Generations of the Supernatural, because I grew up on in a mill house, then bought a mill house, and then I bought 2 more. So
Yeah. You live in a
Big
mill house,
houses.
2 of them.
yeah. So I don't like living beyond my means, and I'm completely comfortable here. And my dad used to say, "You can go anywhere in the world from this house right here. You don't have to prove anything to anybody." And as a kid, I worried about being bullied, and I was a lot, really bad. But I learned how to say F you when I needed to and mean it.
Yep.
But here's my book. Okay. I'm bringing
Great
this
book, by
up.
the way.
Thank you
Go
so
buy
much.
it.
So you were just talking about the mill store.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Wait, you
the
gotta
lady-
finish your first story first. You jumping.
well,
Finish your first one. Come
I have
on.
a ghost story about that one too.
Yep.
So, all right, so let me show you what happened. The men were on the top of the mill, and they were doing when the gates shut, they're like, "No, we're going on strike, and you better not. You're going to get shot. We're not going to have this."
Fishing a barrel.
And when the gates shut, the machine guns came out, and they started firing into the crowd. Now, here's what hurts a lot, besides the fact that these people were just trying to fight for their own rights. It kills me, but they got shot in the back.
Yeah, that's the coward's way.
So here's their tombstone again. Okay. Claude Cannon, Lee Crawford, Ira Davis, Tom Yarborough. If you look this up, that last name is spelled differently in certain places, but that's the real way he spells it, by the way. And then E.M. Knight and Maxie Peterson, C.L. Rucker. So all of these men were shot in the back. They did not die right away. Some of them did, some of them didn't. But they were pulled away from the guns and the shooting into the mill houses. People were taking them into people's houses. And with my being that close, I'm positive that there was a victim in the house that died.
I
Positive.
guarantee it was.
But all the people that died were men. But numerous people were shot, including this beautiful lady here. You see her wrist? She was shot at.
Yeah.
And you can see the blood on her dress. And look how she's so young. Look what is going on.
She's
Look
probably
at that child in the background, scared. Look.
Oh, yeah.
Terrified. This happened that day. Look at her leg. It's bandaged too.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
she
it
had to go
is.
back to work. She had to go back to work. They were told, bury your dead, go back to work Monday. If you don't, you'll be out. You will lose your job. And you would come home and all your stuff would be in the yard.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you were lucky, one of the other neighbors that work in the mill would bring you and your family in, and they'd let you live on the back porch until you found something like that.
Yeah.
Jenny took in a lot of people. Blaine, you met him when we went to a festival together, the Youngblood family.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
They came up and asked me how Mama Jenny was doing. You probably know them, Gwen, because of they do
do.
competitions, barbecue competitions.
We met. It was something uptown, but anyway, yeah, I have met them.
I mean, Mama Jenny
Mhm.
helped raise him, and it was because somebody in his family lost a
He's
job
very
in school and
grateful.
they were homeless.
Even now, he is very grateful.
He's a
He
very
talks about
sweet
it.
man.
Yep.
So I just had to show you these ladies and men, and one of those in that group ended up being one of these. And here's their funeral. And they were told, go bury your dead. You've got to come back to work. If you're not here, you're going to be kicked out. So that's the size of a funeral they had for striking workers that were shot and killed.
Wow.
Murdered. They were murdered.
Yeah, murdered.
Okay. So with it, this is a serial killing.
Yes.
There's a plot, a murder for hire, even. What a nasty mess. So it's perfect for somebody that died to haunt my house. I don't know if this was a child that died in there. Maybe she got sick. Maybe she got shot and it was later that she died, because there was a huge cover up after this. Because look, where is it? There. New York Times even covered the story. I had no idea when I bought this house that this even occurred. My husband was telling me about it, and it blew me away. I just had to hold my head in my hand and was like, what is going on? So here's another one. 15 were wounded. Okay. There was more than that. That's just what
I don't think that's right either. No, Blaine, that don't feel right to you either.
If they were using the guns, I think they were using what's called a bar. That's what Bonnie and Clyde used. They stole them out of the armories, and they were World War I machine guns.
Yeah, that's what they used.
They would fire quite a number of bullets per minute. And they're using 45 slugs for the ammunition for them. And I shoot 45s, and it is a big round. It will put a big hole in you, even from a distance. And they had rooftop advantage too. They were just sitting down picking them off like fish in a barrel.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
Marla made a point too, and I think we've talked about this before, how the little girl could have been shot by one of the stray bullets. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. That is exactly.
She's telling me now I was hit by a bullet in my back. She got hit in the back too. She was trying to run.
That's so sad.
9 years old.
Well, yeah, she was trying to tell my husband that we needed to go, that it was her house. And Matt said this was like a dream state. Poor thing. Poor Matt. He always has this kind of stuff happen. But if something's going to happen, it's to him. But she was saying, this is my house. And he was like, this is my house now. And I'm positive she's the one that was going up and down the steps from the basement. Positive. Because when I saw her come into the bedroom one time, she was coming from the basement.
Yeah.
And it was like, it had a full eat-in kitchen and enough room for a living room. Thank you, Glenda. This is the gun that, let's look. Hold on.
Yeah.
See that guy? Is that the right one?
That is a bar right there. Yes.
Okay, well, there it is. That's what they had. Can you imagine knowing that you're going to shoot into a crowd of people? This is like mafia stuff, y'all.
They didn't care. The people that they didn't care. That's sad.
What do you think about it? Okay, you're already in jail for murder anyway. What do you got to lose?
Yeah, and the sheriff says, "Hey, come kill some more people. Come on."
Yeah, we'll let you off with a warning for killing somebody else.
Yeah,
if you kill somebody I pick, then we'll let you off.
And I can see them giving them alcohol or whatever.
That's exactly what they did. They fed them with alcohol.
Yep.
Maybe gave them, $5-6, which back then was a shitload of money. They were rich. They had a bottle of liquor. They
out of jail.
Yeah, carte blanche to go out there and just shoot as many as that gun would let them shoot. I'm surprised there was not more dead, because I've shot a bar. I've shot into a tree. It effed up a tree. Can you imagine what it do to a human body? Matt will tell you, those things were vicious.
Yeah. I'm gonna look back at that little girl, that young lady with her arm bandaged and her leg bandaged, and she just looks terrified. The kid looks like he's just checked out, like he's
Yeah.
in complete
I'm guessing that
dissociation.
girl's probably maybe 14 years old, if that.
Yeah. Now she could have gotten hurt from running.
Yeah.
Because when they started shooting in the crowd, those people were moving.
She could have
Yeah.
gotten knocked down or anything. You don't know.
There's blood on that skirt right there.
Blood on that clothes.
Arm, leg.
Look at her hand.
Yeah.
The one is bandaged and the other one's like it's covered in blood. She has really seen some horrible stuff.
Yeah. Yes, she did.
So Kelly with an E stayed with the family after we figured out who she was. And she stopped. I mean, I just sat down and was like, you've got to stop with these pranks. We'd like to talk to you. And she stayed with us for the longest. And she even moved with us when we came to where we, oh no, I got the hiccups. Where we are now. Mama Jenny was able to see her and talk to her. And Mom too. And Mia would still talk to her. And I think Mia's love for her kept us from feeling like she was a threat.
Yeah.
I never felt anything that was a threat. I felt, if anything, she thought she could grow up with my child.
She was an attention seeker. To this day, she's still an attention seeker.
Yeah.
We know about all the keys that have disappeared from your house. My ring that was sitting in the middle of your driveway that wasn't there when
Lane, tell
down. Yes, it was.
Tell it.
Me, Lee, and Gwen and Matt were out there looking, just combing the driveway. The spot where the ring ended up at was not there when we looked, because I double checked. Gwen looked, Lee looked, nobody saw it, and all of a sudden Gwen goes, "Is this your ring?
Is that it?" Yeah.
It was in a spot that we had already looked at. So she messed with it, and I was proud of my ring, because it's an Elvis Presley ring. It's this TCB on it, taking care of business. And
she didn't hurt it though. She just put it there. Yeah.
She just put it there.
She's a prankster.
And tell them about the keys.
Okay.
Which time?
There's so many.
We'll go the second time or third time.
Well, I was talking about to Mama and Mama Jenny over at the house that I really miss Kelly. I miss Mia being able to talk to her and her be there for her. Mm-hmm. And I have an Alexa show device in the kitchen. And we talked about it for a while. And, some people would call that summoning. Of course, we didn't know that's what we were doing. We were just talking about missing her. And Mama Jenny was real big about saying it. I said it, Mom said it, but Mama Jenny was real strong. And then the Alexa show device popped up. I wish I'd taken a picture, but I was so stupefied I couldn't get it together. It said, hello, my family. I love you. I miss you too. You'll always be part of my life. And there's like another little sweet sentence, and it said, I love you, Kelly. And it was spelled Kelley. And I kept staring at it. Like my eyeballs were going to take a photograph of it, and eventually it went away. But, I was looking at Mom and Mama Jenny, and we're all, our mouths are hanging open. So that's just an idea of how she lets us know she's here.
She's there right now.
Yes, she is.
She keeps popping up behind your head. There's no reason I know that.
Oh, wow. Well, she's a mess. All right. Well, I made the comment that I was asked by an opportunity to move to another city. And Matt and I were laughing about it. And I said, I don't see that happening. He didn't either. And I said, I don't know. If we went to the city they're talking about, at least I could get a haunted house. And he's like yours isn't haunted. And I said, it's not haunted enough.
Lee.
They showed you.
Yes.
They showed me big time. It was horrible.
Can I tell him?
Please.
I get this call this morning. Yeah. I get this call this morning. It's my sister here. And she says, come in. And I was like, what's wrong? Because if she calls me certain hours, something's wrong. And she starts like not giggling and but kind of like, well, Matt lost his keys. And I was like, what do you mean he's lost his keys?
That's never happened. That just never
Matt
happened.
don't lose
I'm
his
the
keys.
one.
He just
I
don't lose
do.
them. Yeah.
Like
She
all
loses
the
them
time.
all the time. Yeah. But yeah, and she went to explain to me that they've looked everywhere. Matt had to go somewhere. He needs a key to his car and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. So because we've had this happen before, I go and I look everywhere. And that
Yeah.
may not make sense, but I have found keys in Wisconsin before that,
Mhm.
That were
that's
missing from me.
here. And I'd been through what 3 airports? Yeah, and they weren't there. But yeah, so this
We
time I'm
checked
looking in my
I
car and
checked
I'm
my
looking in my
jacket.
bag. Yep.
I checked the jacket twice. I gave
Yep.
it to you, and you were trying to figure out how to turn it on
Well,
because
it
it's
was a
one of those
heated
heat-up
vest.
jackets.
Yes.
So you checked it and was okay. Here's the charging thing, and this is where I run the cord, and I hold
And
it
nothing in the
down.
pockets because
Mhm.
I was putting it in a vacuum thing and they would have made me open it up had something probably been in it. So no.
Yeah, so
they were
she's checking it
nothing.
and checking it.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
3
So,
airports.
and then she goes to put the jacket on, puts her hand in the pocket, and there's the keys.
I'm like,
Mhm.
what is that? And then I was like, okay. Wait, y'all
getting-
missing something? No. No. Do you recognize these keys? You know, and I
I was
kept
like,
forgetting.
oh my God. And I'm looking up here, where my keys hang. And I'm like, Gwen, how did you get my keys? And she said, don't worry, I'll be back. And, it
I'll
was
be
like
back.
2 days.
Yeah, Kelly likes keys. So she's moved my keys at your house. Always put them
Yes,
on
twice.
that table where I sleep on that couch. Well, they'll be over there on another table. They'll be moved. And none of y'all moved them because nobody y'all went to bed. Y'all are dead. Y'all are out.
Yeah, why would
Ouch.
we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all had no reason
Now,
to. And I'm like,
we definitely, she moved your ashtray on the porch that time because we
yes,
hung
she sure
behind
did. I
them.
forgot
And then
about
we turned around and it was back where it was supposed to be. Now, Gwen went with me to Tryon, North Carolina to a Christmas event, a Christmas show. Oh, it's so pretty, all those beautiful lights. Anyway, I had to stop and get gas and go inside and get something to drink. There's a console in my vehicle, and I don't like putting my cell phone on the console to charge because it's a wireless charger. I don't know if it's the case because it's an on-box case or what, but it makes my phone heat up. It gets hot.
Big
It
time.
says on the screen, it says, it must cool. I can't talk at all. Cool off to use.
Yeah.
So, and I've got to use my GPS. So I just plug it in, with a cord and I just keep going. Well, I just plugged it in and I had it over to the side away from that pad. And I had gotten my gloves and went in, got gas, got something to drink, no. So, I mean, I've put my phone there several times. I'm using my same system. Well, it's time for us to go into the equestrian center. We go in and I remember getting my phone, getting my gloves, putting them on because it was cold. And so we were going in and I did whatever and we took pictures and had fun. And then we were getting back in the vehicle and I went to put my phone down. I couldn't because this big wad of keys was in the console.
Yep.
So I had to flatten them out and put my gloves on there and then put my phone down. When I got home, I said, Matt, you can't leave your work keys like this. I had him at Tryon, North Carolina, and I went to hand it to him, and he had this look on his face because he said, I locked them in my car.
yeah.
Yep.
And so it was trippy. It was really, really trippy. And so I think that Kelly has graduated from, luring possums into the heating system and putting bats on my porch and putting crickets inside shoes.
Oh.
Yeah. She would get crickets and put it inside Mia's shoes and my shoes and stuff. And that's why my daughter has a huge fear of crickets now.
I bet she does.
As a little girl trying to put her feet down in her shoes and feeling something. She's like, Mommy, there are potato chips in my shoe. And it was crickets.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, this has been an ongoing thing for Matt and I've been married almost 30 years. So 24, 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I did find a little PowerPoint. I used AI to summarize. If it's screwy, I'll just take it down, but here it is. So that's how many people were protesting. Now, you know, there were thousands of people that worked in the mill, but only 300 were part of that strike. And they had sticks and they were like, we're not coming in. And from what I understand, not only did they have guns, but the people from the mill, they also had what they call pig stickers.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was going to get rowdy, I mean, a lot of people were going to die.
Yeah.
This sent a shockwave all over all the textile mills. There were several textile mills that shut down because as they heard and saw what happened to these people and how it was being hushed up, they had to shut the mill down because they were afraid it was going to happen to them.
Yeah, I bet they did. I mean, it happened once, it'll happen again because and I understand their thinking on that because you had different industries back in those days where they saw violence happen at one, they got scared if they worked at the same, like a similar type plant.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they were at a brick plant or whatever it was, and they saw somebody from a brick plant, get shot down trying to strike. Yeah, it's going to cause a little anxiety there.
Of course.
Oh yeah. So in September the 6th of 1934, this was also in the Great Depression. There were like 300 desperate, very poor workers formed the picket line at the Jacola Mill. And I'm reading something from the Gazette. That this is an article that they published at that time, and they were just wanting higher wages and better working conditions.
Yeah.
Just didn't like being filthy all the time. And this was actually a part of the 400,000 textile workers throughout the Southeast and New England that were protesting at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But in Honeypath, this is what happened. Now, the man's name that did all this damage to these people is Dan Beecham, Beach, like going to the beach, AM, Dan Beecham. Now, he was the superintendent of the mill. He was also the mayor, magistrate of the town. Mm-hmm. And he basically paid for an armed posse of strike breakers, that's what they called them, to fire into the crowd of strikers from inside the mill. Okay. And like I told you, he had the chief of police in that group. 6 died, 30 were injured, what like Gwen said and what Blaine said. I know that there's more. I know that there were more.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Dan's grandson, Frank, in 1995, found Dan's journals and wrote a book in protest about what his grandfather did.
Yeah.
And so this documentary came out in 1995 when they put the monument up. And it's horrible. There's a music video that's called, it's about the massacre, and it's by Matthew Grimm and Red Smear. But there was a brutal crackdown after everybody got shot. The National Labor Relations Act was signed. This would have been in 35. President Roosevelt did it.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 38, he established the 40-hour work week and established the minimum wage. And then curtailed child labor. Did it again, child labor. So there's a big study in the American Journal of Sociology that talked about right to work laws and the inequality of the power that these people had to do this. I mean, this was, like I said, a very, very sad situation. Very sad. But then there were still some old attitudes in the South. They still felt like the rich man needed to stay rich. It took a long time for the South to come out of this.
Yeah, it did. It did, because I know here in Alabama, Sloss Furnaces was a place that made iron.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
up until that law was passed by Roosevelt about paying them a fair wage, they were still getting paid with clackers at the company store. And the federal government had to come in there and go, no, you can't do that. You have to pay them a living wage, is the words they said. Now, they probably only paid them like $1 an hour, and I think the mill was open till like 78 or 79 when they finally closed it down. But that happened all over. It happened in the coal mines up north. It happened at the textile mills, at the brick factories, everything that was a business that made money, lumber yards, all kind of businesses like that had to start paying people and give them 40-hour work weeks and put up safety precautions to keep their workers safe, because they didn't care. And because all you were was another number. If you died, they just replace you within 5
Mm-hmm.
minutes of dying. And there was another one that they worked till he was dead.
Yeah, it was cradle to grave type job. It was. They owned you. All right, so I'm reading this little section. It's called A Small Town Dictatorship. There was a man, R.A. Adkin, and his wife Ethel. And Adkin was 19 years old. He met his girl Ethel. He was a farmer, and he quit farming, got married, and went to work in the mill so that they could make more money. And Ethel started working at the mill when she was 14. Okay. At the time, the mill had 2,740 people. The mayor was Dan Beecham, and he ran the mill. All right. So even though Atkins was working in the mill, he was also kind of a high-paid guy. He was doffing the warp, and he was making a whole $12 a week.
Ooh.
That was the new minimum wage. And she got paid, what did she do? She was getting paid. She got paid, I don't know how much, but anyway, the company took out of their check $4.80 a month for their 4-bedroom house
Mm-hmm.
in the old section of the mill village, but the electricity and water was supplied by the mill. And they went on talking about you had to live tight. Everything you could do to raise a dollar then, in order to live, you had to do it.
Yep.
So when the union started organizing, it was about 8 months before this thing happened, 600 mill workers signed up. But Atkins said he wasn't going to join because he knew what was going to happen. And he said the only thing he wanted to do was belong to his church. And that's the only thing that saved him, because a lot of people he worked with got shot.
Mm-hmm.
But one of their neighbors went, and she said that it felt so good to finally be heard, that she knew she didn't have money. She couldn't buy a new dress. She could only sew the dress or get dresses from other people and make dresses for the children from old clothes, that kind of stuff. And she said, I had to focus on feeding my kids. And when they had their meetings,
Yeah.
If it came to her head, she spoke about it. She was just so tired. She said she felt like she was going to die from the work. But
Well,
they
ladies,
were
I'm gonna
to
switch
kill.
off of here, and we'll see you tomorrow night at 5:30. We got Joe Kudo
Yes.
coming on. You can like him on Family Spirit tomorrow night. So, thank you everybody that watched. Love y'all, and I'll
Leave Lane.
talk to y'all tomorrow.
See ya.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Gwen, so you know that Yarborough guy I was talking about, and we saw him on the memorial. He was shot 10 times.
10. Good Lord.
Yeah, and it
one
talked about a
could
little.
have killed him. Jeez, 10.
Mhm. One boy was shot in the leg, and they had to work on his leg, and they ended up going back over, and the child was dead. So there were children that died. I don't think they were reported though.
Oh, probably not. That was really covered up. Very
I
much.
wonder if that's where Kelly came from. I just can't help but think.
It could be.
They did talk about concentration camps in Honeypath.
Yeah.
After the violence, they talked about there was a mill in Duncan, and the mayor called for martial law after what happened, and they called out the National Guard.
Mm.
I
Well,
don't
you
care.
guys, it's been an hour. Go read. Lee, pull your book up. Pull your book cover up for us.
Yep.
Now they have a lot of book, and I lose. Forgive me, but I do lose count. I'll be real with you. But go check them all out. But this one has old school stories that I have read them. I've heard Mama Judy talk about them. I've heard Lee talk about them. Matt, and they're great. Go read it. Go buy it. Go read it. Look it up. Yep.
I think during those
all of them are good. Yep.
I think that was the perfect storm to make hard times. If you throw the Depression in, World War I, poverty, greed, all of that.
Yep.
That's where all of that landed. So I tried to capture all the stories I could.
Oh,
So
you did
thank
great.
you.
You really did.
Thank you for helping me. And like, subscribe, and share Every Story, Every Voice, all Access Network Television. Thank you for watching.
Have a good night.
Good night.